Hello students, today we are moving on to lesson 3.2 and this lesson talks about angles of triangles. So the first part of this lesson deals with interior angles versus exterior angles. So if we're looking at interior angles of a triangle, interior means on the inside. So I've drawn a triangle here for us and I've shown you where the interior angles are. It's everything within that triangle. Now if it's talking about exterior angles, let me draw my triangle here. Exterior angles are angles that are on the outside of a triangle. So basically, when you look at these sides of the triangle, you would have to kind of extend the line like this. This isn't incredibly neat, and then this one would go this way, and this one would go this way here. So here we have all these lines if we extended the triangle. So here's an exterior angle, here's an exterior angle, here, 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 and here. Those are our exterior angles, and again, you get those if you extend the sides of your triangle there. So that is the difference between interior angles and exterior angles. Now, let's focus here on the interior angles real quick. The important thing to know that when you add these all up, they are always going to equal this is for your interior angles, they are always going to equal 180 degrees. So you might be faced with a question. This will be our example problem. They could give you a triangle and maybe they say, I don't know, maybe they say this is 45 degrees. I don't know, maybe they say this is 60 degrees. And they might say, okay, so what's this missing angle X? What you would have to do is you would have to set all of these equal to 180. So you would set up your problem, you would say, okay, 60 plus 45 plus X would have to equal 180 degrees. Then you could combine these terms. 60 plus 45 is going to actually give you 105 plus X equaling 180 there. And then if you guys remember how to get X by itself, 105 is positive over here. If we subtract it from both sides, we would end up getting, this would cancel out. We would be left with X. Whoops, that's an X. And if we do the math over here, we're going to get 75 degrees. X equals 75 degrees. So if they give you a problem like this, where you have your triangle and they leave you with an angle that's unknown, that's what you would do. You would just set it equal to 180. Add them up, set it equal to 180. Now, what if they give you a problem like this? I'm going to erase this for a moment. We're still talking about interior angles here. If they give you a triangle, and maybe this triangle, they say, okay, this angle is 30. This angle over here, we'll say this is our X. And this angle is X plus 25. Oh, okay, so now we have kind of two angles unknown, but we can still figure this out. We know this angle's 30, this angle is X, and this angle is X plus 25. So how do we go about this one? Well, we still set all of this equal to 180 degrees. So I'm going to take 30 plus X plus X plus 25. Okay, so I took everything that was in there, 30, X plus 25, put all of it added together, and you're setting all of that equal to, whoops, that's a degree sign, not a 6, sorry, 180 degrees. Okay, now it's just a matter of, like I said earlier, combining like terms. So this and this, 30 plus 25, That's going to give us 30 plus 25 is 55. And you're also going to combine here's a like term and here's a like term. Remember that if x is alone, you, I guess we can say pretend, like there's an invisible 1 in front of each of these. This is 1x and this is 1x. So 1x plus 1x gives us 2x. There's 2 x's there. So now I've combined like terms. I'm going to set this equal again. We want to keep this equal to 180. Now I can carry out math like we've done before in the past with equations to get x by itself to figure out what x is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 55 from each side. That will cancel out over here. And over here, it looks like I'm going, if you need to carry out your math or you know, whatever you need to do there. Excuse me. This is going to give us 25 over here, and over here we're left with 2x. So 2x equals 25. Now how can I'm sorry guys. Look at this, your teacher's making mistakes on videos. How embarrassing. I don't know why I crossed that one out. My apologies. 2x equals 125. Apologize for that. All right, so now we've got this problem. The last thing we need to do to get x all by itself is divide each side by 2. When you do that, you're going to get x all by itself because your 2's cancel out. And you're going to be left with 2 divided by 120, or 125 divided by 2. I do not have a calculator with me right now, so that's going to be 67.5. I believe I'm trying to do that in my head. Something close to that. Yeah. Okay. So that would be your x. Now, if it wants to know the angles, you would have to put x into the triangle. So like this angle would be 67.5. But this angle would be 67.5 plus 25. You would have to add that to get this angle here. So that's another way. That's another question that they could ask. But again, you just, if it's your interior angles, you always set them equal to 180 degrees. So that's interior angles. Now, what about exterior angles? Well, I'm going to draw a line here to make sure I don't cross over. Your exterior angles, you're going to do, honestly, kind of what you did last week as far as like a straight line. We know, let me see if I can get, we're going to walk over here for a second. I'm going to get a different color of marker. We know that a straight line would be equal to 180. We learned that last week. So remember how we drew this to extend the line? Well, this entire line right here, that's a straight line. That's equal to 180. So if I knew this angle, that angle right there, if I knew that, I could set that equal to 180 and figure out the missing angle. Let's do an example. All right, your example. If you have a triangle, and they tell you, I don't know, let's say they tell you this angle right here is equal to 50. And they want to know what this angle is. Let's say they put this as x and they say, okay, well, what's x? Well, all you have to do, we know that since this is a straight line, we know this entire straight line is equal to 180. So to set up my problem, I would do 50 plus x, because that's what's sitting there, 50 plus x, we know is going to equal 180 degrees. Then I would just need to carry out the math here to solve it. Subtract 50 from both sides. That's going to cancel out on this side. It would leave me with x, and this would be 130. So my x angle up in the problem is going to be 130 degrees. Again, I knew that because this is a straight line, so we know that it equals 180. Now, one more thing I just want to remind you of. I'm going to erase this and do one more example. I just want to remind you of a symbol because you're actually going to see it here in a second in your homework. There is a symbol, if I can draw this triangle, that looks like this. If you see that symbol, I'm just going to go ahead and finish out the problem here. This could be your problem. And they would say, what is x? Well, if you look at this triangle, there's no numbers. So some people might say, oh my goodness, we can't solve this. Yes, we can, because just remember that this symbol represents a 90-degree angle. Okay, so we know that that angle right there is 90 degrees. So if I worked that out, 90 degrees plus x equals 180. I'm setting it to 180 because this is a straight line. So I know that these angles together should equal 180. 90 plus x equals 180. Carry this out. I'm going to subtract 90 from both sides. That's going to leave me with x over here, and that's going to be 90 degrees over here. So x would equal 90 degrees. Okay, again, that's the lesson today. If you have any questions, please email me or message me on LiveGrades, and I'll be happy to help you. Here's your homework problems. You have 4 problems this time. Okay, problem number 1. You have your interior angles of 35 and 45, and you're solving for that x angle. Remember, you're going to add all those up and set them equal to 180. That's the first problem. The second problem, you have another triangle here. We have interior angles. We have 25x and x plus 65. So you're going to add all of those up and set them equal to 180. Don't forget that you can combine like terms. This is like the second example that I did. Okay. The third problem that you're going to do, you're going to find an exterior angle. Okay, now this one's kind of 2 parts. You know this angle's 38. This one is a symbol that you should know. So the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to actually have to figure out what that interior angle is first. Get this interior angle, then once you know this interior angle, then you can set whatever that is plus x, set it equal to 180 for that straight line right there. Okay, so that's kind of a 2-step problem. Same thing here for number 4. It's kind of a 2-step again. Actually, it is a 2-step again. You have some interior angles. You're going to need to figure out what that interior angle is first before you can figure out what x is. Once you figure out this interior angle, then you can set it equal to 180 when you add it with x, and you'll be able to figure out what x is. All right, there's your homework. Again, please just send me your answers through LiveGrades. And if you have any questions, please message me. I'll be happy to help you guys. Bye, guys.